Chapter 190. Part 3 of 6. Celestia and Luna greeted me once again. This time, they were in Luna's dreary room. "So how was your night?" Celestia asked. "It started well but ended poorly," Luna said, looking fairly depressed. "Stealing him away from Twilight was easy and I quickly found a way to make him my date, but he does not seem to return my feelings." "What feelings?" Celestia immediately asked. Luna realized what she said and her face lit up red. Forgive me, that was the wrong word. I'm still relearning my vocabulary. He doesn't seem interested in working for me." "Patience, sister," Celestia said. "Always have patience. Tell me what he did." "Well, I decided it would be better to see how he behaves when I know he is on his best behavior. Getting him in the position of my date accomplished that. He knew what was at stake and handled himself admirably. He told off a hussy who tried to steal him from me and he danced with me as though it was second nature. And yet? What did he do to make you feel so dejected?" I was told that dates normally end with a kiss. I was also told that the stallion usually initiates. When he did not, I took matters into my own hooves." "You kissed him? Tell me there were no witnesses." "We were alone in the maze. There was no way anyone could see." Celestia sighed in relief. "I don't know why you would do such a thing. So you kissed him and yet you still feel down." Luna sighed and looked down. The look of pure shock and other things on his face told me everything I needed to know. Of course he was shocked. "You're a princess. You shouldn't be going around and kissing anyone. He's probably horrified of what would happen if I found out." "Well, now you know. He has no interest in me." "Because he was shocked that you kissed him?" "Luna, he just spent the night as your date, making you look good in front of everyone. From the whispers I've heard, your reputation will be getting quite the boost from this. He's perfect for you. Continue moving forward. He will make a wonderful agent." "I am not so sure that is wise. He has made no hostile actions toward any sapient creatures so far, at least as far as I know. It seems he just wishes to live his life in peace. Perhaps we should leave him be." "He was fully prepared to kill a monster hunter who came after him," Celestia said. "He had his weapon prepared and seemed utterly confident that he could win, despite the hunter being a unicorn. Given how you described it, I would not be surprised if he could win. If Twilight was able to prepare this weapon off a basic description Nav gave her, imagine what he could create for us if we gave him real resources. I truly don't get the feeling he wants to serve me. He just wants to be my friend." Celestia sighed and shook her head. "Luna, part of what you're supposed to be doing right now is making him want to serve you. Of course, that doesn't mean he can't still be your friend. But always remember that you are a princess. He, as a citizen of Equestria, is your servant by default. Don't be afraid to remind him. That isn't what friendship is about. Nav and Twilight both have taught me that." Perhaps this was a mistake. "Fine, then. If you want to let an asset with such potential go to waste, we can leave him to his own devices. Put him out of your mind, Luna. Focus back on your normal duties." Luna's eyes shot wide open. Celestia finally stood and started walking out. Wait. He's my friend. Can't I still see him?" "Why?" Celestia asked, looking back. "You can make plenty of friends here in Canterlot. Friends who actually know their place in society. That also isn't how friendship works. Twilight told me that friendship is special, that you can't just throw it away. How could I just abandon him now?" Celestia finally turned back to face her sister. "Did you read the report about his homeland?" she asked. "No royalty. Do you know why?" "I didn't see that report, no. His people fought a rebellion against their royals and won. They've been living free of any royal control for a few hundred years. That kind of thinking is poison, Luna. He talks about it freely, about how wonderful living in a country ruled by other citizens is. It doesn't surprise me in the slightest that he refuses to obey you. He would likely refuse to obey half the orders I'd think to give him, too. But do you know what that means? I do not. If something is poisoning your nation, you get rid of it. Navarone has an unknown amount of knowledge with the mindset of a revolutionary and a personality jaded and depressed enough to match. I'm giving you two choices, Luna. You either tame him or you make sure he has an accident on one of his hunting trips. What? Luna whispered. That is how you handle threats. Perhaps you forgot in your time on the moon. I'll give you time to think about your choices. Good night, Luna. Her horn lit up and she vanished. A few seconds later, Luna actually started crying. The memory faded away and I woke up to Luna kissing the other me on the mouth. Holy fucking shit, that was evil, I said. I am so glad we killed her. As an aside, Celestia was lying, the guide said. She is good at it, but her body language still gives it away. She did not intend to actually kill you. She was just manipulating her sister into continuing to work on you. Is that supposed to make it better? I do not know. I was merely providing context. So, what are we gonna do? I ask, looking back to the aspects. We gonna talk about this memory first or are we gonna view the second memory now? What would you have done if you had this context? Reason ask. I don't know. Nobody would have believed me. I guess if I knew Celestia was thinking about killing me this early on, I would have just become Luna's servant and did whatever they wanted. It might not have been glamorous, but it would have been better than being dead. Of course, knowing what I know now, I'm glad I didn't go down that path. Fear would have ruled your mind, the fake Luna said. It would have confirmed everything you suspected about the sisters. Perhaps running would have been a better option. Where? I ask. And how? I had no money. I didn't really have any way of getting much. Going south to Mexico would be too dangerous. North to Griffiths would have been an option, but that's so close they could easily find me. Getting across the ocean would require money and even then, the only place I could safely go away from Celestia and Luna would be China. Running was never an option. Perhaps you should have led a revolution, anger whispered. At the time, I thought Luna was my friend. I didn't want to hurt her. And more, I still had my doubts about the sun and moon. I wasn't completely sure that they were lying. I couldn't risk being wrong. So did you take anything away from this memory? The guide asked. Yes. Luna fell for me harder than I realized. Celestia didn't realize at all, or so it seemed. Also, Celestia was even more of a bitch than I realized. That was legitimately evil and I honestly feel sorry for Luna. I was angry at her earlier and a part of me still is, but it's being overtaken by pity. There are still more memories to come, Reason said. Are you ready for the next? Sure. Her hoof was the next to poke me in the face, though she had to stand on her tippy hoofs to make it. This memory was taking place in Twilight's bedroom in the library. She was lying on the bed, looking all kinds of depressed. Dash was lying next to her, a wing over her back. Come on, Chui, Dash said. It couldn't have been that bad. Just tell me. Twilight sighed and laid her head down on the bed. He left me there by myself. What? Where did he go? Luna stole him away, she sighed, rolling away from Dash. We weren't even there 5 minutes before she snatched him. What do you mean, snatched him? She asked. She ordered him to accompany her. She wanted to use him to keep annoying ponies away from her. Wow, talk about rude. That's just what she said, though, Twilight said, rolling back toward the prismatic Lesbo. She turned him into a pony and then paraded him around as her date. What? She stole your date for herself. Yes. Dash jumped right out of the bed. I'm gonna go give her a piece of my mind. No. Twilight jumped right down and grabbed Dash's tail as she tried to fly out. It's the princess. Fine, then I'll go give Nav a piece of my mind. I can't believe he cheated on you on your first date. Well. About that, Twilight dropped Dash's tail and used her hoof to awkwardly rub at her neck. What about that? Dash slowly asked. Well. I never actually ask, so to say. What do you mean you never ask? You two went together, didn't you? Well, yes, but... But what? You went together. That makes it a date. Not when you tell him very clearly that it's just a cultural showcase and a chance to let the ponies of Canterlot see him. Dash finally turned around to just stare at Twilight. You never actually told him it was a date, she finally asked. I was too shy. Wow. And I thought Fluttershy was bad. At least it's in her name. You can't complain about another mare stealing your stallion if he doesn't even know he's yours. And you can't be mad at another mare stealing your stallion if she doesn't even know he's yours. I know. Twilight sighed and looked down. But it still hurts. Don't let it, Dash said. This just means he's worth pursuing. If even a princess is going for him, there has to be something there. But it means you have competition now. Competition? What? Luna, Day. If she took Nav as a date, that makes her your competition. So we'll have to work together to keep them away from each other. We also have to make sure she doesn't get any chances to impress him. But we can't do that to the princess. Why not? She's trying to snatch your prize, Twilight. You can't just let that stand. If you want him, you gotta fight for him. Wow. I never thought I'd be competing with a princess. I don't know if I'd call it a competition. Luna seems weird and creepy. You're cute and cuddly. There's no way a cool guy like Nav would ever go for her. Honestly, I bet she just ordered him to date her. She didn't have to really pressure him that hard to get him to leave. Why would she? You were dragging him there for some boring cultural crap. He was probably just looking for an excuse to leave. The summer wrap-up festival is coming up soon. Why don't you try to take him on a date then? That's a great idea. It's another perfect cultural event, so you're going to ask him to join you there. As a date. And if you woos out, I'll do it for you. What? Or should I just go tell him right now? She asked with a smirk. C'mon, Twilight. He's just a few meters away, probably feeling all kinds of lonely. You could have him all to yourself right now if you only just ask. End of part 3.